Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Micro-credential Learning Series. My name is Karim Alias. In this video, I want to talk about creating interactive activities. And this is actually relevant to the issue of student engagement. How do we engage students in the online course? Well, I have a cartoon here. This my own cartoon that I prepared. Well, this is actually a common scenario. The professor here or the teacher, he has prepared a very good, comprehensive online course, but somehow the students did not really, actively engage in the course, or some of them don't even bother to log in or spend very little time in the online course. So he said, "Tell me why you didn't log in often in the online course. I spent countless hours to develop it." And the students say, "Well, frankly speaking, it's dead boring, sir. We fell asleep after 10 minutes." Oops, too frank. Well, that's the reality. When we develop an online course, one of the challenges is actually to really capture the attention of the students so that they spend not only they spend time, but they are going through the course in an active manner. To create an active learning environment in the online course is really very challenging. Just imagine, even in our own classroom, a face-to-face classroom, sometimes we can, it's very hard to keep the attention of a student or to captivate their attention. What's more, with today's, digital world, they are always being distracted with the phone and so on, the social media. So how do we compete with the attention of the students, or how do we keep and retain their concentration and focus so that they really engage in the content that we have prepared in the online course? So in this module, in this training module, you can go to Unit 8, where I talk about how do we create interactive activities and interactive content. But before that, so basically this video is also focused on talking about the students' engagement. But we need to understand what does it mean by the word engagement, and creating a fantastic learning experience for the course. So basically, when we talk about creating the strategies for learners' engagement, there are three essential elements that we have to pay attention to. So basically, to engage and to interact and the action. Engage here means engage the students cognitively, get them to get them to think critically, invoke thinking or provoke their thinking. So we need to design to achieve that. We need to design appropriate learning activities that would engage students at various levels of cognitive domain of Bloom taxonomy. So we talk about from the low level up to the highest level, where students are able to create something or make sense of what they have learned. The lowest domain will probably, where the students will try to uh, memorize the facts, which is also very important. So these are the so-called the cognitive domain in Bloom taxonomy, apart from the affective and the psychomotor domain. So how do we design learning activities or learning content that would get the students to really engage, to get them to captivate and capture their attention, to promote interest, so that the students really intuit and engrossed and immersed in the active learning environment that we create for them. The second element is interact, meaning that we need to design the learning activities in our course such that we would encourage students to interact with their peers. And this actually in an online environment. So we need to find ways to promote that kind of social interaction. So the students need to develop that social skill and feel comfortable in the safe environment of the course to interact with their peers, with their students. Only with the interactions, learning can happen more effectively. And the third one is action. We need to design as a course learning designer, as a course designer or the module designer, we need to design appropriate learning activities that would allow the students to do, get them to do, not just passively reading the slide or watching the video or doing, or just going through page to page, unit to unit in the course, but we need to engage them and get them to do. So this is kind of the psychomotor part of the Bloom taxonomy. And then to create tangible output. So create is actually the highest level in the Bloom taxonomy. If we can design our activities and also the content in such a way that they can reach that level, then most likely the students will engage, and most likely they will be able to achieve the learning outcome and achieve the competencies that we have designed for the course. So just keep in mind when we talk about engaging students or the student engagement, there are at least three elements. Engaging them with their peers and the instructors. This is what we call having a social presence. So we, in the typical face-to-face classroom, sometimes we can see that there are some students are very introvert, some are extrovert, but introvert students prefer to keep to themselves. So it's our role to really get them to come out from their shell, so to speak, and then really have that kind of engagement with other learners. The second one, engaging learners with online content or lesson. This one I would cover in Unit 9 in this training module. So basically, we want to engage them cognitively. So this is what we call cognitive presence. We want them to think, to critically think, to, they have to really put themselves in that situation where they need to work their brain, so to speak. The third one is engaging learners with appropriate level of learning activities. This is what we call teaching presence. So we need to design the learning activities in such a way that they will feel comfortable. Maybe we can start with the easiest, then we take them slowly to the more difficult or advanced level so that they don't feel, we want to create that readiness for them rather than just put them in hot water and expect them to learn. So there are a lot of aspects, as you can see here, to design a very effective online course in terms of engaging them in the course, in terms of keeping their attention, retaining their focus, because the concentration span of average concentration span of adult learners nowadays is very, very short. What's more, in the world full of distraction, we need to learn more. So there's a book, actually a free book, adding some TEC, tech variety. And I would strongly recommend you to download this free book because there are over 100 practical activities that you can use and apply as part of your learning or course design here. Well, if you just take a few, 3 or 4 from that book, I think that's probably good enough to start with. And, you just have to pick the one that you think most appropriate for your course. And there are also some other tools and courses that I would recommend you to check out and try to learn how to use them and apply them in your course. And another aspect is about promoting engagement. So not only we create the activities and the content in such a way that they would engage. So we need to look at other aspects as well. Because people need people. Learning is best, happen in that kind of social environment when there is a social interaction. So it is our responsibility as a course designer to create that interaction. So interaction matters. We can actually use the dynamic virtual learning environment. So we need to learn how to create that by using appropriate strategies and tools available. We need to build a sense of community because people would feel, safe in the community. So this is a community of learners in the course, in our course. So we need to design some, aspect of our design that would promote this sense of community. We need to encourage peer feedback. We need to, when we produce content, whether it's video, whether it's any form of content, we need to keep in mind that you don't want to make it very boring. So you have to try very hard to make it interesting in a small chunk, bite-sized content. And maybe sometime you can arrange for a short online session, maybe during the weekend and so on. And if possible, if we can also have like a face-to-face meeting, like a 1 day face-to-face meeting at the start of the course, not 100% fully online, if this is possible. That actually will really uh, help to promote the engagement in the online course. Then there are other things as well we can do: storytelling, gamification, spark discussion, reflection, using real life example, encourage deeper thinking through Socratic questioning, online collaborative project, and so on and so forth. So I think I've given you some overview uh, what you can do as a course designer to put the interactive element in your course to address the issue of student engagement. Again, I want to stress the fact that there is something not very easy to do, especially if you just embark on online course. But you need to learn slowly how to create the different kind of interactive activities, interactive content, because we want our students to really be engaged in the course. So that is all for now. I hope the video is useful for you, and I'll see you in another video. Thank you for listening.